Marty and Avrum. Oh, they're so lovely, so lovely. And thank God they're back. It's been a long time, but they've been away and they're back. We are here. We're
Yeah,
back.
we are.
We're having the time of our life. You know, people say, "Oh my God, you've gotten a little grayer."
They're a little grayer, right?
I say gayer or grayer? Grayer. And we are here with Teresa Greco, who has a story to tell. We want to know how it all started. What about your training? What brought you to this point in your life where you went to school, you're still going to school. How did you become the person that you are?
What are your credentials?
Yeah, what are your credentials?
Yeah. Who the hell are you? Miss Happiness.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yeah, tell us all about that.
So I am a certified happiness life coach. I also certify people who want to be life coaches as
Yeah.
well. I am a 3-time best-selling author.
Wow.
I am an international speaker,
Oh, look at
writer.
you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Holy
I thought we were vaguely successful, but
I
not
know.
so much.
We're like
Not
little,
so much.
We're like little worms.
We are worms, I know.
Wow.
I am the editor and senior writer at the Canadian Luxury Men's Magazine.
Oh.
I am an educator, educational technologies consultant,
Oh.
Reiki master. I am the host of 2 different internet TV and radio shows.
What a fun.
God.
One is called the Steps to Happiness Show with Teresa Greco, and the other one is called the Happy Hour.
Where can we see that?
So
those shows?
the Steps to Happiness is on Soulivity TV, which also airs on YouTube as well.
Okay.
And the Happy Hour with Teresa Greco is on all of the different podcast platforms, on with Hopeful Radio and Skyward TV.
So are you worth a lot of money?
She's married, Avrum. She's
I
married.
don't care.
Diversified. You were so diverse.
Oh, and I'm pursuing my PhD in happiness.
What's your
too.
thesis?
So it is what is true inner happiness and how do we connect with it.
Wow. Is that innovative? It
So-
would have to be, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So that's why I am a bit of a thought leader in the way that I see happiness, because happiness typically in psychology has been looked at as a state of mind, where I believe happiness is a state of being, which is how, let's say, the Eastern religions or Eastern philosophy has always looked at happiness as that. So my dissertation really merges the two, merges Western with Eastern by looking at happiness throughout the ages. So I go back as early as Aristotle, as we talked about, and then bringing it right up to positive psychology and looking at all the research around the different practices that help us to connect with that place of happiness inside of us.
That's beautiful. I'll tell you an interesting thing that I study the Old Testament, and you will find certain allusions to happiness within the Old Testament. And I'll give you an example. Do you know the Old Testament?
A little bit.
I love it, yeah. Do you remember when God promised Abraham and Sarah that they would have a child? Right? So what did Sarah do? She laughed. She laughed.
Right.
She was 99 years old.
She's
right?
happy.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
At 99. You could have a child. at
Kinina
99.
Hora.
That's right. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, so they called their son Yitzchak, Isaac, which means, and she laughed. So there's some happiness
Yeah.
within the Old Testament as well.
But you have a quest for knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, you really do.
How did you obtain this? How do you were you always a person searching for
Were you a good
answers?
student when you were a kid?
And I'm an educator too, so I still teach actually.
You learn and teach,
Yes, I teach twice a week. So I work with students that have special needs, and
like Marty.
Thank you, Avrum.
You're welcome.
and I help them with different types of software that helps them to be successful in school.
What's left for you when you're
Where do
giving
you
all
find the
this?
time?
What's left for you when you're giving all this to people and you're making them happy? How do you stay happy?
And that's where the practices come in, because it is constant work. It is, but work in the sense that you're not working to gain that happiness. You're working in a sense to connect to that place inside of you that is infinitely happy and happy in abundance. So it is like working to remove the clouds, let's say, or the blocks, so that you can realign yourself with that happiness. So that's where, like, if you'd like, we could talk about my 5 top steps. to
Yeah, tell us
happiness.
the
What are
5,
the
yes,
five?
yes.
Okay, so my first step is meditation. Meditation, I believe, is that gateway practice that helps you to connect with your spiritual self.
Yeah.
So if happiness is an innate quality of your spiritual self, meditation is that practice that can help you to
Where
connect
you'll
with that.
touch it, you'll feel it, okay.
And there's so many different forms of meditation. There's like walking meditations, active meditations, guided meditations. So there's so many forms of it. So as a meditation coach, I help people figure out what forms of meditation they resonate with, because sometimes I get, the comment, oh, I can't meditate, it's hard or whatever. It's really about finding that form of it that works for you. Also, it doesn't mean that you have to meditate for a whole hour in order to reap the physiological and psychological benefits of what meditation provides.
Right, what's number 2?
Number 2 is self-love, and which also ties into self-care.
What is that self-love?
Yeah.
So it is aligning with the love that you are. And so how do you connect with that love? So at that point, you analyze all aspects of yourself and you ask yourself, are you loving yourself on a mental level? So that's where, when I began to connect with that love, I recognized that I was not loving myself mentally. That when I thought about myself, I hated on myself, I was loathing of myself, I had very limiting and hateful thoughts about myself, where I thought I'm never pretty enough, never skinny enough, never athletic enough, never enough of lots of different things. And these were all belief systems that I had adopted over the course of my life, often through well-meaning people, our parents, educators, friends, colleagues, whatever, tell you things about yourself as you're growing up, and then they become the words that you tell yourself on repeat. And a lot of those words often are not loving words, they're hateful
Cruel.
words. They
Cruel.
are.
Brutal.
The things that we say, brutal, the
Yeah.
things that we say to ourselves are often things that we wouldn't even say to someone else.
That's why it's so incredibly important, our narrative to little kids.
Right.
Sometimes I see people talking to their little children, I'm aghast. I go, oh, don't
Shut
say
up,
that. Yeah, don't say that. It sticks
Yeah.
with the kid.
Yes, it really does.
Right?
And it becomes part of those tapes that you play on repeat.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day.
Did you ever think that about yourself?
Not that many thoughts. I'm lucky if I have one thought.
And 95% of them are the same ones as the day before.
Yeah.
80% of them are negative.
Oh my gosh.
So it is really about becoming consciously aware of the things that you're saying to yourself. Are you limiting yourself? Are you sabotaging
Right.
yourself? Are you critiquing yourself?
Right.
Or are you loving yourself
Right.
by saying empowering things to yourself and encouraging things and loving things where you're like, I'm amazing, I'm incredible, I'm magnificent.
Yeah.
I'm perfect.
Unbelievable.
I'm smart. I'm helpful. I'm like all of those things. We should be affirming those positive things.
Someone once told me you should
But
be.
she's got 3 more things.
Yeah,
to
we're
tell
gonna
us.
get, let's get to
Let's
the
get
third
to
one.
3 things.
Someone once told me that you should be as good to yourself, at least as you are to your best friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, at
So
least.
what's the third pillar?
The third one is being in the now, or living in the present moment.
Wow.
So when we are completely present in here, that's where we connect with our happiness. Happiness is found in the present moment, but often we are either stuck in the past and ruminating in our shame and our guilt and our upset and our regrets and things that didn't go well, our pain, our trauma, all of that. Or we're living in the future, where now we have so much fear and worry and stress and overwhelm about, oh no. It's when we're in the present moment that we connect to our happiness. And we often find that in those activities that help us to connect with that place. So for you, it might be like being in nature and you're there and you're like, wow, it's so nice outside. Or whether you're having dinner with like some friends that you really enjoy and you're totally present and in the moment and laughing and appreciating, the atmosphere and the conversation and who you're with, or whether you're exercising or drawing or painting or cooking or what all those activities are. When you're immersed in it and you're in what science calls that flow state, it's like you have infinite energy. Time just goes by. You're like, what the heck? Where did that all go? Because you're so in the moment and connecting to that place.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I have a friend who just did high holiday services.
Right.
And it's very intense. There's a lot of people there. This is like the Jewish New Year. And we were just talking about it, and I asked him, like, how do you know if you did a good job? How do you're excited about what your accomplishments? He says, you know, Avrum, you know how I know if I did a good job? He goes, I didn't have to go to the washroom. And that sounds silly, right?
It does.
But when you're in the zone, when you're at that moment where life comes together in such a rich, beautiful way, all your physical stuff kind of takes us, back door. And I think there's nothing more beautiful than sitting in a forest and watching a squirrel eat a nut.
Right.
Right? You like nature, don't you?
I do, but I haven't been that connected to nature.
Not lately, right?
I'm more of a saver.
Restaurant guy.
I have to say, oh yeah, that's a tree. Now we got two more to
Yes.
talk about.
Yes.
I'm just, it's, you kind of blow us away because these are such fundamental things, and they seem so complicated, yet you make them seem, that you can reach those goals.
Right.
And it's just enlightening. So I want to know about the other two.
Thank you. So the next one is gratitude.
Right.
So science has shown that gratitude is directly correlated with happiness. So the more grateful you are, the happier you feel. Now, I once had someone say to me, well, I just thought that happy people have so much, good things going for them, so that's why they're grateful. And it's like, no, actually gratitude comes first, in the sense that it is about looking for all the small things that are going well in your life instead of focusing on the lack or what you don't have. It's about redirecting that 80% of negative thinking to actually look for the positives and what's going right in your life. So the fact that, for me, the very first point of gratitude is waking up in the morning. I'm like,
You're
yes,
alive.
yes, I have another day to live, yes. And that I now have the ability to get up and make my way to the bathroom, where I'm like, okay, I feel good today. Like, I don't have a headache. I don't have I haven't woken up with any upset, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I can go and start my day. And it's moment by moment appreciation for all of those small things, so that I have nice things to put on. I have clean water to wash my face and brush my teeth. That there are
That's fundamental.
Hallelujah.
Right?
Yes.
Right? That we take for granted. Electricity, water. There are still places on this planet
agree.
that people walk hours to get water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Can I add
feel-
to your appreciation thing here? My parents taught my sisters and I to be appreciative of the woman at the cash counter at Metro or Sobeys.
Acknowledge
Right.
everybody.
To say, I thank you. You look lovely today.
Yeah.
Right. And thank you so much for the job that you've done. I say, whoa, I tell them, you're really good packing bags, because I don't pack bags well, right? And I point out things to them that they're very grateful for. I think it's also showing appreciation not only for what you have in your life, but to other people in your life, right?
Sure.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got one more.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Is following your bliss. So searching for happiness is you looking outside for what's going to make me happy.
Yes.
Following your bliss or following your joy is allowing that inner joy to direct you towards your happiest life. And so it is about figuring out what that happiness toolkit is. What are those practices that act as a vehicle to help you connect with that place inside of you? So maybe it is meditation, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's hanging out with friends, maybe it's sporting events, maybe it's singing and dancing, podcasts, books, whatever that is. But when you're participating in those things, be consciously aware, be mindful, and say, wow, I feel really good in this moment. It's checking in with yourself all day long to say, how do I feel right now?
Right.
Do I feel like I need to go and have a stretch? Do I need to eat something? Do I need a break? Do I need to breathe? Do I need to whatever? And so when you're participating in something, acknowledge if it feels good to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to say, okay, I'm going to add this to my toolkit, because when there's those times that we need to raise our vibration, raise our energy. So now we're stuck in traffic, we're frustrated, or our colleagues at work are toxic, or our manager's miserable, and we come home and it looks like a bomb went off, our kids are all over the place. It's how do I realign myself again? And it's being able to make that time to connect with that. So understanding your happiness is not in those activities.
Yes.
Those activities are a vehicle that help you to connect to that place inside of you
Right.
that is already happy.
It's excellent, isn't
Wow.
it, Marty?
It's just, yeah, you're mind-boggling, and you're like a vessel of happiness and love. And even it's funny when you just touch our arms, you know, you can, I don't know, it's the warmth of your, you know, it's like magnetic. Don't you think so, Avrum?
Oh yeah, no, you can tell when somebody's happy.
You know, but also,
You can also tell when someone's sad,
but
right?
she exudes happiness.
You really do. Yes,
Yeah, you really do. And we've got
Good
so
for
much
you.
more. And we're going to talk to Carlo, who's also a believer in this
And a
whole
happy
theory,
fellow.
and a happy fellow who's giving us the chance of a lifetime. We can never say thank you to him for starting our career again, and everything that he's just stood by us. And he's a dear friend. I talk to him every day, and I look forward to it. I said he's like a brother.
He makes us happy.
Yeah, he does. He makes us happy, and he's always giving. And he's going to join us, and you're going to love the things he has to say. I feel so happy now.
Yeah, I've never seen you so happy.
Well, it's just, I think it's magnetic. I think it's just, it's a force that brings you closer, and you have the gift.
One thing you should know, I know we need to sign off, but one thing you should know, I've known Marty for many, many years. And when you're joyous, you're the most joyous person.
When
in
I'm
the world.
sad, I'm pretty sad.
That's true. When you get sad, you get sad. But there's nothing wrong with that. We have
No.
feelings, right?
Yes,
we have
that's
emotions,
right,
right?
that's right.
But when you're joyous,
And that-
Marty, you're very joyous.
And we've come here for that. We've
Yeah.
come here to experience a whole host of emotions.
Right,
Because
right.
on the other side, it's only love and bliss. So
Right.
we're like, that gets tiring every
You think
day.
so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets boring.
To hell with
wanna
heaven.
we want to come down and switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So-
we're going to come back with more. We're really just talking so much; it's hard to get away. We're going to join. Carlo is going to join us.